Hi everyone, welcome to the live Podsitivity podcast, or video podcast. Hope you're all feeling well, enjoying the sunshine. It is a lovely day out there, it's cracking. And supposed to be getting warmer until Saturday, I believe. And then we're in for a shock on Sunday. A real cold one on Sunday. So enjoy the few days of good weather. My compatriot, Sensei Maisie, will be right with me. She's just setting everything live over there on the control desk. I hope you enjoyed her PE session yesterday. Those of you that joined us, it was a really hard workout, and we've had some feedback to say it was quite a hard workout. A lot of people saying they were a bit sore and stiff afterwards, so that's good. Glad you're working hard. And we had 2 or 3 people also sending in some activity charts, if they had a readout on their Fitbit or other fitness device. They've sent us those, which makes interesting reading. So keep those coming in. It's great to see so many of you participating and getting involved in the things that we're doing. It really is heartwarming. It would be soul destroying to think that we were sitting here on our own with nobody paying any attention to us. So thanks for helping us to not feel that way. We really appreciate it. If you want to get involved today, then please do so. Send us a message on Facebook or WhatsApp. Is that correct, Sensei Maisie? Yeah. Facebook better?
Whichever. I think I've got everything.
Get everything covered, everything connected. Okay, good. So yeah, WhatsApp or Facebook, they all work. Get involved and make your contributions. And thanks to the people who've done that so far. It really helps make it interactive and much more fun, doesn't it? We're going to be talking about Kata, really, and frameworks generally. Whether they're called Kata in some styles or not is irrelevant, really. It's the purpose of having a framework to work to. We'll be talking about that. We need to cover some what's the word? Housekeeping first. Then we make sure everything is up to date. Yeah, up to date on. Keep people up to date on where we are and what we've done and what's going to be happening. These sort of things. Yeah.
I'm having a fashion crisis at the minute. Oh God.
Oh no.
I've got hair in my eyes and.
I have one of those every morning.
Oh dear. Here we go. Right. Okay.
I found the best thing to do is dress in the dark. And then,
oh really?
Yeah. No, nobody knows. Well, not until you're out of the house, and then it's too late. You don't have to worry, do you?
Well, I suppose not. No. Although you had an interesting conversation with your son this morning, didn't you, about your fashion?
Yeah. He said,
for the day.
"Was I going to play snooker today?"
Yeah.
Just because I've got a waistcoat on. Are snooker players Well, I said to him, "Are snooker players the only people who wear waistcoats?" And he said, "Snooker players and bouncers." So there you go.
There you go. What else can you say to that, really?
Nothing much.
Not really sure how you can comment.
No. I'm probably more likely to be a bouncer than a snooker player. My snooker's not very good.
No?
No, and I'm well out of practice on door work as well, so that probably wouldn't work very well.
Dear.
I might
have to rethink your dress sense. Then.
Yeah, I might have to dress differently.
Go for something else, yeah.
Definitely.
Hi Becky and hi Nancy. Nice to see you guys again. You're back on the stream. You're always with us on the streams. This is good. I like to get this consistency going. I had you guys for PE yesterday. How did you find it? Becky, you sent me a screenshot of your Fitbit a little while ago, and I have glanced at it, I promise. But I've just manic setting up the stream, so I'll have another look soon. But it looks good. Well done.
Nancy also sent us a video of her Kata, so we'll have a look at that and give you some feedback.
Did she? I didn't know she'd done that.
Yes, I think they sent that to... they may have sent it to me on Facebook.
Okay, that's cool. Cool.
We'll have a look at that and give some feedback. And as I've been saying on the live lessons, that's a great idea. If you would like some feedback from us, please video your Katas or your kicks or your basics or whatever you want us to check out, all of it. And we'll happily give you some feedback and some tips and whatever.
Even if something's live as well. I think some people have spoken about doing a Zoom type conference call, haven't they, where
Yeah,
we can do a live session. And I think it would work well for one-to-one stuff, or maybe even twos or threes, that sort of thing.
well, when we did the gradings, they worked well by Zoom.
Yes. Yeah.
It was good fun, and it worked really nicely.
It did, yeah.
So I think we could certainly do some one-to-ones or two-to-one lessons like that. And,
yeah, I think providing that there's not too many people in a live class, it'd just be carnage otherwise. Absolute carnage, I think, with
the trouble is, if you have
lots of
more than 3 or 4 people in a live class, then you may have a delay in some places, or a lag or somebody's internet is buffering. They miss a bit, and then they have to go back and catch up for them.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's much better if we just keep one location at a time, I think, and just do that. But we'll certainly look into the possibility of doing some one-to-one sessions.
I think it's a good idea.
And I'd like to thank the people who have asked about the gradings in June, because you guys helping us to stay on track as well. And it's nice to know that you are thinking along those lines, and we just need to put in place some structure for making sure that anyone who wants to be assessed in June is able to. Who knows, we may be back to actually seeing you face to face by then.
Yeah, I think the only challenging thing really is how we can keep an eye on what people have been practicing. I mean, if you've got a syllabus at home and you've been working from the syllabus, that's great. But it's difficult to work from a syllabus and not have any input whatsoever, especially if you're a lower grade or an intermediate grade. You do tend to have a lot more input. Input at all, because at the minute people aren't having any input, are they? So, yeah, like we said, I think the live input thing or video input, if you want to film anything that you've been practicing and send it in to us, and then we can critique it and give you some
that'd be excellent.
Some points, that'd work quite well.
So if we start with that, if we start with you sending in video, us giving feedback, that's good.
Yeah.
And then we can perhaps go to live Zoom classes just with 1 or 2 people at a time.
Yeah, I think that would work quite well. I think I know that Els suggested that, didn't she? Was it yesterday that Jane sent in a message to say about the Zoom thing, and we had a chat about it and a think about it, didn't we? And I think, well, we both agree that it's a good idea, just providing that there's not too many people in one session.
Yeah. I'd rather do a really good job with fewer people at a time than try to, do lots of things in lots of directions.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to concentrate sometimes on one thing, but
yeah, definitely is. Agreed. Cool. Also, I posted the results of the masked Kata competition.
Yeah.
I did that about an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago now. So if you haven't had a look at that, we did a little video with the first, second and third place winners, if you like, doing a little reveal of themselves. So they had their mask on or their outfit or whatever it was, and then just a reveal of them taking it off so that you can see who that person is. So that's live. Go and check that out. I've put that on Facebook and on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you can see it on there too. And I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the competition, and well done for everyone for taking part. It was great.
And to everyone who voted as well. You know, we had a lot of people voting.
Yeah,
I think we had over 40 votes, which is nice for that kind of competition.
Great.
You know, especially when it's all done online and you're really only letting people know about it online. It's nice to have that much interaction. So yeah, good stuff. Thank you everybody who got involved.
We've got another little project coming up, haven't we?
Yes.
A little bit of fun. This.
Yes.
Again, the White family mentioned the toilet roll challenge.
They're on it, aren't they? They are on it. And
we've seen a couple of adaptions of the toilet roll challenge on various social media.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a belt challenge, aren't we?
Well, the toilet roll challenge, I think, is I think there's a few toilet roll challenges, so perhaps we need to be a bit more clear on which one we're referring to.
Okay.
So the toilet roll challenge that we are talking about is where somebody catches a toilet roll, they do something, and then they throw the toilet roll off of the other side of the screen, and then to the next person, they catch it, they do something, then they pass it on.
That's the one.
And so that's the one that we're referring to, and we didn't really want to waste valuable toilet roll. I think that's the the real reason. It's like gold at the minute, isn't it? You don't want to be chucking toilet roll around that you
Absolutely.
can't possibly
Might
use
drop in a
again.
puddle or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Then
So
it's no, let's not go there. It's
no.
soggy to use.
So I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we'll start you off. I'm gonna have my belt on, do some techniques. I'll take my belt off and I'll throw it across out of shot. Maisie will catch the belt. It will magically turn into her belt. She'll put it on, do some stuff, take the belt off, throw it off to the side. Somebody else will catch it. It will magically turn into their belt. And with the magic of video transitions, we can make a boom,
Yep.
and it will
Put it
just
all
change
together.
colour. So if you'd like to send us your thing, what we'll do is this afternoon we'll record an example for you and put that up.
Yeah, I think that's
So
probably the best way for us to explain what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Although, I think
the best thing for us to do, I think, is for each of us to do our individual piece,
Yeah.
and we'll put those up so everyone can see the individual pieces, and then we'll show how it will go together.
Yep. And I think the good thing about this as well is that you don't need to be wearing your kit. If you don't want to be wearing your kit, you can wear your kit by all means if you want to, but you could just be in, your t-shirt and shorts. You can do it in your pyjamas if you want to. You can do it in your onesie. I know again that the White family are partial to a onesie for a live lesson, so perhaps they might do that for that. But and then if we put up our examples, then people can see what we mean.
Yep.
I am going to be making a request though. And that request is that when we film things, we need to turn the camera this way. Because I think that lots of people at the minute are sending me videos up this way, which is great for a phone, and it looks good on a phone screen. But when I have to put it on my computer and edit it, I've got these two big black lines on either side of that video. So if we can turn our phones so that they're landscape, we'll try and get the video matching across all of the shots then. So if you want to get involved in that, great. We'll be putting that out later on. There's going to be no prize. It's not a competition.
No, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
It's just a little bit of fun to try and get everybody involved and everybody engaged with everything.
And parents, we'd love for you to catch the belt and do something, or just look puzzled and
quickly
pass
throw
it
it
on.
away again.
Just be involved. Just be doing something. So like Nick Hills, if you're watching, you could catch it and put it around your neck while you're hammering a nail or putting a screw in, and then
have a cigarette. It's
have a cigarette. Yeah, that would work.
Thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything.
Yeah.
But we think that's going to be something fun for everybody to get involved in. And of course, the more people that get involved, the longer the video and the better it will be. So if you want to get involved in that.
And let's not be too serious. Let's make it fun. Let's just have some crazy stuff
again,
in there.
And it was like the masked Cata competition that we did. Richard Howard, who came in third place, he put his Spider-Man outfit on.
Yeah.
How cool was that? He thought, mask, no, I'm going to the next level. I'm going to wear the whole outfit. You can do something like that if you want to. If you want to remain anonymous and you want to wear a mask, you can cover your face up if you want to. Be adventurous.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, let's not be too serious about this.
No. It's more fun for me to edit it as well if it's a little bit humorous.
Yes. We're
going to try and get Reggie involved as well, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, he's involved with everything we do.
He's over there at the
over there at the moment.
Yeah,
okay.
He's in the sun,
right, okay.
yeah.
It's amazing, whenever we set the camera up, ready to do some filming, he will come and lay in the spot where the camera is focused and look at the camera. It's like he knows what a camera is. Well, he can't possibly, can he? But
it's quite scary how he does it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, always.
You just sit there and look at the camera and you think,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Know? How do you know this? But yeah, don't forget as well, if you're watching us now, let us know that you're watching. Get involved. I've got all of the stuff on my screen here. I can see everyone who's getting involved online. We've got YouTube. You've got a live chat on YouTube you can comment on and get involved in. Same thing with Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook now, you can get involved on the live feed there. Even if you've got no questions that you want to ask, you just want to say hi, go ahead and say hi. That's cool with us. And also, if you've got our phone numbers and that sort of thing, you can send us a message as well. That always works good. So I can see I've got some messages here that I haven't responded to.
Bit rude to look at phones while we're
it
broadcasting,
is, but I try and multitask. It's all for the cause of the broadcast, so it's fine. But right, so today's topic then. We are talking about Kata.
We are. So, Kata. We look at Kata. Well, Kata and frameworks and patterns and Pumse and all the different names that they have in different styles.
And before you disappear, if you're a kickboxer or if you're somebody who does Muay Thai, stay.
Well, you have frameworks to do as well
Because
now.
this is still relevant for you. So if you've not seen the title of this broadcast, it should be Kata, the Foundation for Combat Sports.
It is. It is the foundation for
so
combat
even if
sports.
you're somebody who you do a style now where you don't necessarily practice kata or forms, stay, because I think this might be quite a good discussion.
Yeah, it is. So before we get into all the benefits that we believe Kata holds or forms and frameworks hold, we'll use those terms interchangeably. So let's just go through a few. Kata is the Japanese word. Pumse is the Korean word, and that translates roughly into forms. Japanese stylists have also taken on the word forms, patterns, frameworks. I'm trying to think what else.
Sequences.
Sequences. Really, it's just a general term that means practice routines that enable you to get better, to drill something and get better. And that tells you exactly what it's for. Practice routine that's designed to help you practice and improve your technique.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of... hello to Sophie. Hi, Louise, as well. Louise is watching us while she's at work. I hope you're still working. I hope you're not completely slacking off.
You got the volume turned down, I hope.
Yeah, or maybe headphones.
Yeah, maybe
headphones. But good to hear from you guys. Thanks for getting in touch. Benefits of Kata. There's lots of ways that we can look at Kata, and there's lots of different things we can take from Kata. I think that... Reg.
Reg, calm down.
I think that when you perhaps first start in any type of martial art and there's Kata involved, you perhaps look at it just as what you see it as, and that is just a sequence of movements that you must remember in a certain order.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yes, you're right. That's not wrong. It is a sequence of movements that has to be remembered, and it has to be performed in a certain order. It has to be correct. Otherwise, it's not correct. It's not the Kata. It's kind of like doing your alphabet incorrectly, isn't it? It's not your alphabet if you do it incorrectly. So it's the same thing with Kata. It has to be correct. And I think that there's lots of things that you can take from Kata more than just the fact it's a sequence.
I think for me, if we wipe everything else out about Kata, if it had no other use except helping people to improve their focus and their concentration, it would be worth having it. If it had no other use at all, other than to help people with their focus and concentration, then it's worth having.
Definitely.
Because it so does that.
Yep, certainly does.
There is nothing else that increases people's concentration and focus like having to learn a kata to get a new belt.
Well, that's it, because it has an outcome, doesn't it?
Yes.
You learn a new kata and there's something at the end.
There's a reason
that
to
kata.
learn it.
You've learnt it correctly for a reason. And whether that reason is to get a new belt or whether that reason is to get a medal in a competition, that is the reason. You do have a reason, at least, to learn a kata.
So if there was nothing else, it would still be worth it. But there are lots of other things.
There certainly are.
I mean, there are so much. I mean, firstly, let's go with memory enhancement. I often talk about the example of a young lad that I had brought to me. I think he was 5 years old, and his mum said to me, I brought him along to try a couple of lessons. He was a premature baby. He's got severe learning challenges. He's 2 or 3 other things. He won't be able to remember anything or learning sequences, but as long as he enjoys it, then I'm happy. Well, that's a nice thing for a parent to say, and I'm completely on board with that. As long as everyone's having fun, great. We don't need to have any expectations.
No.
16 years later, that man, as he was, is a second Dan, and off he went to Australia to emigrate on his own, on a new adventure. And a second Dan. So how many katas did he learn? He learned lots. And did it take him longer to get into it to begin with? Yeah, it did. but everyone was patient with him. Everyone helped him. Everyone understood this was the rate at which he learned. I tell you, the rate at which he learned improved enormously as he learned more.
And it teaches you as well to not give up, doesn't it? If you find something challenging, okay, it's a challenge for you. You know, it may be a challenge for you. It might not be a challenge for somebody else. Somebody else might find something else challenging, which you find really easy. But the point is, if you find it challenging, you can't give up. Well, you can give up, but if you give up, you won't continue
You won't overcome the challenge,
to progress. You won't get better at overcoming challenges. You know, so there's this whole aspect of Kata, and not just Kata, I think martial arts as well. I mean, because we look at kickboxing, and I think stereotypically, if you like, or generally across the planet, kickboxing doesn't have set forms or frameworks and things like that. But you still have to remember things. You know, you're taught perhaps... well, you're obviously taught individual techniques, but perhaps you might be taught combinations of movements that have to be performed in a certain order. You know, so it's the same thing. It's testing your memory function and saying to you, if you find something challenging, don't give up. Because if you give up, you won't get that outcome that you've been after all of this time.
You use kickboxing, and obviously Muay Thai is the same. You use that as an example, and it's a perfect example because... the one thing that I feel is missing from kickboxing for years until I introduced frameworks was a framework, was some method to help people. And Tracy Hills, you have to take a large chunk of the credit for this, because when I was trying to explain to you shadow sparring, you struggled to understand exactly what I was after, and that's fair enough. And you took the time to explain to me that you were struggling to understand what was required. And that's fantastic, because how many other people have had that same struggle?
Exactly. But
so
good on Tracy for
absolutely.
For mentioning it.
And that's my whole point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we created the frameworks, and now they're implemented in the kickboxing. And the number of students who have said to me, oh, if only these were in place when I was a low grade.
Yep.
Would have helped me enormously with my shadow sparring. And those guys some of those guys are black belts now. Yeah, but they look back and say, oh, this would have been so helpful when I first started, you know. So
well, yeah, because you say, you know, and again, you go to a kickboxing class, maybe it's your first kickboxing class, maybe you've been doing it for a month, but the instructor says, all right, shadow sparring. What's that then? What am I doing? Okay, I'm sparring, but if it's my first lesson, or even if I'm a month, 2 months in, do I really know how to shadow spar? You know, show me, give me an example. What can I do? Is there a specific sequence that I can do which will look like I'm shadow sparring?
Until I get into the habit.
Until I can make it up for myself.
I can create my own stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So
hence frameworks.
And they do work well.
And that works exactly the same in Kata for karate. Sometimes, and this makes me smile sometimes, people will say to me, oh, yeah, but Kata isn't realistic. You have to do this and change this.
I think that's the age-old argument, isn't it? I think across the planet, I mean, the amount of things that I see online relating to Kata, you know, oh, yeah, but you won't win in a street fight. But you're missing the whole concept, the whole principle of Kata. And I think if you can't get that, then
well, you're missing out on something, aren't you?
Yeah.
But look at it like this: if you say let's take Sensei Maisie as an example. So she wins a couple of world titles in Kata. It would be very easy for someone to say, yeah, but that Kata is all stylized. It's all balance, it's all poised. You'd never use anything like that in real life. And if you look at it just superficially, you can say, yeah, I suppose maybe that's true. But look at the other side, flip it all the way over onto its head and say, if I get you to practice a strike in line, then you're not getting to strike with anyone, are you? It's in line. If I get you to practice with a partner, you've got to be careful not to harm your partner. That makes sense. We don't want injured partners all over the place.
Of course we don't.
However, when we put it into a kata, we can go for it. We can bam. We can really do everything full strength, knowing that we're not going to hurt anyone else.
Yep.
Yet we still get to practice the techniques.
Yep.
and we get to practice the techniques hard, and then we put pressure on ourselves to finish in a nice position. So you could look at a kata in a performance and say, yeah, but why would you finish on one leg with one arm up and one leg down?
Reg.
Well, the answer is because if ever this happens to me in real life, and I want to be able to do a technique and finish so that I'm balanced and I don't fall over, practicing this on one leg will help me to not be balanced when I've got two legs on the ground.
Completely agree. And I think that it is important to understand that kata is stylized.
Of course it is.
You know, so giving this example, of course it's meant to look nice. You know, that's the whole point. If you were to take a practical kata, and I mean practical in the sense of punch, kick, you know, groin strike, knee strike, elbow. If you were to take that into a competition format, it doesn't look nice. It's not going to get anywhere because it doesn't look like a performance. You wouldn't go and perform a dance that didn't look like a performance, that it didn't have flow to it, it didn't have rhythm to it. And it's the same thing for a kata. And you have to understand that even though these movements, again, for example, they look stylized, they are stylized, they do have a practical application.
Reg.
This is helpful. Anyway, I'm going to take this chance to say hello to Jeremy Watts. Hope you're doing all right. I hope you're still practicing at home. And Louise, I'm pleased that you're not slacking off. And it's nice to be keeping you company.
Yeah, so that looks at the competition, or dispels the competition argument that, you know, if you put it in competition, then it's not real. Yes, it is real. It's just that you're exaggerating everything. You're taking everything to the nth degree so that you test the competitors. You know, like if we have it in a kata in a competition, if somebody does a beautiful high side kick and pauses with their leg out, well, in reality, that could have been a kick to the knee. But a kick to the knee doesn't look quite so beautiful. It doesn't test the competitor quite as much. So the competitor wants to show they can do it higher, just to try and give it that extra level of performance. You know, and that's the reason why things get changed around a little bit when you put a kata into a competition or a grading.
Of course, yeah. And I think that it's really important for people to perhaps understand. I don't know if understand is the right word, because I don't want it to seem like I'm belittling anyone.
No, of course not.
But if you make that argument to somebody who practices kata that it's not practical and it won't win in a street fight, it's almost like you're saying to that person you don't know anything, when in reality the people who practice kata understand, trust me, we understand that the flowy stuff and the fancy stuff isn't the stuff that you would use to defend yourself. We do get that. But we practice the flowy stuff and the fancy stuff because we like it and we like to make it look nice, and we practice it because we can, and we can try and be better at something. You know, for me, the thing that really pushed me in kata to do well was the fact that I just could, and it was something that I thought, I enjoy doing this, I'm going to see how far I can take it, how good I can be at it, you know, and what other reason do I need apart from that? If you enjoy something and you just want to see how good you can be at something, you know, you don't need any other reason to be able to practice something, really.
If you compare it to figure skating,
you
know, there is no practical application for figure skating. No. People only do it to look beautiful, only do it to look poised and elegant. Well, you've got all the poise and the elegance and the beauty and the balance, and a practical reason for doing it. You know, it's like ballet with a good reason, or ice skating with a practical application. Yeah, you know, it's like a double whammy win, really.
So, I mean, let's look at the things then, if you like, that you can take from kata that will improve your martial arts. I mean, the list is endless, so I think it's important to say we're not going to be able to cover every single one.
No, there's not going to be an exhaustive list. These are the things that just come to mind first.
Yeah, and let's discuss probably the ones that come into mind first, I think, because they're the ones that people are going to be thinking about at home as well.
Well, I think memory enhancement.
Definitely.
I think you know, when you're asked as a lower grade to remember a 12 move sequence that repeats itself fairly much, so maybe a 6 move sequence that's repeated both sides pretty much. It's reasonably straightforward. The moves aren't too complicated. It's reasonably reasonably simple, and that's your start point. You know, not everyone finds that easy, and I get that completely. You know, but it doesn't matter where you begin. It doesn't matter how easy or difficult it is for you when you start. All that matters is you get better.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
you start.
Yeah, you do start,
Yep.
and you make an improvement.
Yep.
You know, so that's the first thing, and then of course, the katas get more demanding, and you have more to remember.
Hmm.
You know, so that's an enormous memory enhancement tool.
Definitely. And a memory enhancement tool, and memory, if you like, if you can improve your memory, not only does it give you more memory and the ability to remember more katas and more movements, but you can transfer that skill from martial arts, from kata, to other areas of your life as well. And we had a discussion last week, or one of the questions that came in last week was how can you relate things from martial arts to your real life? You know, and that's one of those things. Memory and the ability to be able to remember things and to have the commitment to practice things so that you can remember them is a good thing. If you can take that from martial arts and put it into your real life, you know, think of all the other areas of your life where you've had to remember something or you've had to practice something so that you don't forget it. You know, whether that's something that you need to stand up in front of your office and say as a little speech, or whether it's something that you have to do at school, there's always going to be things where you have to think, right, I need to try and remember this, you know, so I'm not going to have it sat in front of me, I need to actually try and remember it.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it from a script. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So there's going to be all those different areas of your life where, you know, you can pass these skills on to. And interestingly, you know, has anybody found that? I'd like to know, has anybody found that their memory has really improved from practicing kata? Or, you know, kickboxing, the frameworks and things like that, the sequences of movements. You know, have you found that that's really helped with your memory? Is it something you haven't thought about before now? Think about it now and, you know, let us know. We'd love to know. Send us a message.
Absolutely. Sense of achievement.
Mm.
You know, when you find something challenging and you overcome it, even if you don't overcome it perfectly, but you get some way to getting it as you'd like it to be, the sense of achievement is enormous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I still have that sense of achievement. We have friends in other styles of karate, and we will invite them down here sometimes to teach us new things, new katas usually.
Yep.
And, you know, I can remember being in here quite recently. I'm working with a Japanese stylist. Hi, Matthew, if you're watching. And him teaching me a kata, a new kata from scratch, never seen it before, never practiced it before. And when I'd finished and I remembered it, I thought, yes!
And let's be fair, Japanese katas are not known to be short.
No,
are they?
no, it's quite a long kata.
They're quite long katas, aren't they?
But I loved that feeling,
Yeah,
that feeling of
exactly.
achievement.
Yep,
You know,
definitely. And why would you not?
No,
It's like when you achieve anything in life, you do hopefully have a sense of achievement. You know, you've accomplished something. It boosts your confidence, doesn't it? And that's another thing that you can take from kata, the fact that it boosts your confidence, your self-belief.
So, talking about looking at the positive rather than negative, you know how good Matthew is at kata. I don't stand behind him, but beside him, and compare what I do after a single session with him. I can remember it.
Yeah.
He knows that kata inside out.
Of course.
Now, for me to stand next to him and say, yeah, but I'm not as good as him. Well, of course you're not as good as him. He's just taught you that kata. It's new to you.
Yeah.
You need to live it. You need to experience it and work out your bugs and
He's
your...
been doing it for nearly 20 years. You've done it for 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a massive difference.
So, really important that you don't put down your achievements by saying, yes, but. You know, yes, but I'm not as good as that person. Yes, but it took me longer to learn. Yes, but so-and-so. That's rubbish. All you need to do is give yourself a bit of a boost and say, I learned something new. I can remember that. Well done, me. You know, it's easy to look at something you've achieved and belittle it and make it, you know,
it's that classic
insignificant.
Yes, but, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, yes, it's good, but this, or yes, I did it, but. Just forget the but, you know. Yes, you did it. That's enough. You don't have to belittle yourself. I think as well, we talk about memory. I think things like, I think you might have touched upon this already, balance and the physical aspects that come from kata. So like coordination, your ability to balance, And coordination, not necessarily put your left hand out when you need to put your left hand out, but the ability to move your arms and your legs in sequence,
to be aware of where they are
and to
and
turn
where
your
you want
body,
them to be.
to turn your body in a certain direction, you
Yep.
know, and things like that, and to not cross your feet over, and just to be conscious of where everything is in your body. You know, so that classic one is your backhand. You know, you pull your backhand back when you're not using it. Well, great. It's good for your coordination, and it's making your brain say, right, where are all of my limbs? This limb is doing the thing that it needs to be doing, but is this limb as well? And as well, it's good technique, because we talk about transferring what we learn in Kata to our real-life martial arts. Well, of course, this position is the strongest position to throw a punch from, with that backhand, if you like.
And getting it to that position
And getting that
can be a clear out, can be a grab something, pull it out of the way,
exactly,
and pull someone onto something you're doing with this hand.
and these are perhaps things that you may not think about instantly. And again, you're not going to think about those when you're a white belt and you're learning your first kata, are you?
Of course not.
You're not going to be thinking about, well, this is good for my coordination. This is the best and most optimal place for me to throw a punch from. You're not. You're just going to be thinking about getting those moves
Remember the next move.
in the correct order.
Get the right stance.
Yeah, start
But
with
that's
your left
okay.
leg.
Isn't it? That's
Of course
okay.
it's okay.
And that's why the belt system's in place. So
Yeah.
there is a process to go to different levels of expertise.
Exactly. And as well, this is why there are always things in kata that can be practiced, and always things in kata that can be improved as well.
Always.
You know, it's fine that you know the moves, great, but are they the best that they can be? You know, have you got control over every single limb in every single movement?
Well, let's go back to our friend Matthew, our mutual friend. He's brilliant at kata, brilliant. But he hires this place 2 or 3 mornings a week to get better.
Oh, he's a grafter, isn't he? I mean,
To
he's
get better, so he'll come down here for an hour and a half,
in the mornings before he
Yeah.
goes to work, yeah.
and and he'll be here practicing.
Yep.
Because he wants to be better. And, he already knows it better than most of us, and he performs it more brilliantly. But he's here practicing, and that's why he's good, isn't
Yeah,
it? You know.
of course. Yep.
But happy but not satisfied is
Yep.
his thing, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. So, in terms of kata being the foundation for all combat sports, I think when we look at the more traditional of the arts, if you like, so things like, we have our discussion about tradition, I know, but let's call classical martial arts, if you
Okay.
like, so things like karate and taekwondo. How, if you like, can we explain to people how that can transfer and be a foundation for all combat sports? So, for example, like boxing. Okay, we look at boxing and we think, well, there's no kata in boxing. Yeah.
No.
There's no kata in Muay Thai. But
There is in ours.
yeah, classical.
Yeah.
But how can kata still be a foundation in an art that doesn't have kata? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Well, I was a karate fighter. I moved to kickboxing. I moved to boxing as well.
Yep.
When I was boxing, people used to say, "What are you doing with your legs, man?" I'd be in a karate stance,
Yeah.
feet wide apart, knees bent,
Yeah.
hands up higher,
Yeah.
and they'd go, "What are you doing with your legs?"
Yeah.
But I could move. For me, I could move much more smoothly and quickly, and I would be much more balanced if hit than if I had my feet closer together. Also, in boxing, when you start boxing, you're drilled about how to move your feet like this. You move your back foot, turn around. And these boxing coaches have these fantastic drills that they use. Now, I think I transferred over reasonably quickly and got the boxing thing fairly quickly because of all the kata and stance practice that I'd done in karate.
Yeah, most
Because
definitely.
I knew that when I needed to change direction, if I moved this foot, it would put me in this position, and how far, and I was used to spinning around this way.
Yep.
So I think although boxing gyms don't teach kata, they have drills that teach foot movement,
Of course. Yeah.
which are really footwork drills with that are really the same as our footwork in Kata.
I think. I mean, I ask you the question. I do know the answer to the question, but I mean, my point is to ask the question from perhaps people at home's perspective. But I think as well, there's a really good video that I sometimes see kicking around online, and it's a clip of, or it's lots of clips all together, of a certain MMA cage fighter person.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
Is it George St. Pierre? I think.
I can't. It might be, and there might be one of Michael Venom Page as well.
Yeah, well, Michael Venom Page is a classical karate person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But what the person who's edited the video together has done is they've got a clip, for example, they've shown a particular move in like
in the MMA octagon.
Well, they show it first in like a kata format. So somebody's wearing a white suit, and they'll do this clip of the kata, the certain movement, whatever it is, and then it'll cut to the cage fight where this fighter does exactly that same move, but in a real life situation.
Yeah.
And for me, that video on its own, I just think that is the answer. That is the answer to that question, because the video is quite long. It's not like it's just one clip.
No, it's lots.
And it's not just things like a front kick or an elbow strike or a punch, because
it's all sorts of sweeps.
It's specific
takedowns, blocks,
things. Yeah, and it's a really good video. I'm going to see if I can find it, and I'll share it on the page, the Black Belt Academy Facebook page, because it is a really good video to watch. And it just makes you think, wow, like if nobody had put those clips from that kata in front of that, you wouldn't even
put the two
think
together. You wouldn't associate.
No,
them.
you wouldn't associate it at all. And of course, it's not going to be things like this, the fancy things, the showy things that are there just for the performance. It's the more practical movements.
But you use this as an example. But you've done the bunkai for choreo.
Yeah.
You and I both know that this isn't a salute. It's
no.
Hands up, I'm going to be hit.
Yeah, of course.
All right, and then from there you're into knife hand because you're striking.
Yeah.
But this is the stylized version for gradings, kata, classes, because we don't always want to be bashing each other.
No, we don't.
This is the stylized version, and then when you've learned all those and it's all in your head, then you can learn what it can really mean. Block, job, knife hand,
Yeah.
And of course that brings me on to my next point. They're drills. They are drills that drill in certain movements and confident movements. Your ability to change direction. We used the example on Monday when you did some of the bunkai from Sakuru. How that punch, when you side kick this way and punch this way, how that punch could be a throw.
Yep.
That action could be a throw.
Yep.
But it could also be that you've attacked, or you've been attacked this way, and you're turning to be aware that somebody may be ready to attack you from a different direction.
Something may be going on in a different direction.
Absolutely, and that's something that is really important in kata. You change direction this way, you change direction this way, and it helps with your awareness when you move around. Now, the obvious thing to put it into is a self-defense scenario, but of course we change direction all the time and need to be aware of things. If you're in the supermarket and you turn around to grab something off the shelf, you don't want to elbow somebody in the face as you turn, do you? Some poor old lady out there just to get her shredded beetroot. So it's all about awareness. You look as you move. And I would hope that a high grade in martial arts would be a far more aware person than a lower grade, because we've enhanced that awareness as we've gone through the grades.
It's awareness of your movements and awareness of space around you. The classic thing for a kata competition: don't go outside the area. If you go outside the area, you're disqualified. Be aware of the space around you. Be aware of where you need to start. Will it put you in a good place when you're over that end, doing something over that end? Will you go off the area? You have to think about these things.
We spoke last week about self-defense and real-life danger situations. Kata will help your awareness in that situation as well, because it makes you simply more aware.
Yep. Exactly. So Jane Bentley has sent me a message.
What's she saying?
And has said about Sid how Kata has helped his memory, coordination and concentration. It's testing for all of those at once and very good for him. And that's true. And I think that I'm really proud of Sid, because he's just learned Yukjang from a video. And I know that Sid doesn't find Kata natural. He doesn't find it easy.
No.
So the fact that he's done that from a video, I think is amazing, and I think you should be really proud of yourself, Sid, because that's awesome. I mean, even I find it a challenge to learn a kata from a video. So, you know, and I like to think that I find kata quite, not easy, but natural. So that's really good. And then Tim Old has said about Harry, how it's hard for Harry to focus, but when he is focusing, it does go in, and it teaches him, you know, that focus and you'll get it kind of thing, and it will go in.
Tim, if you're still watching, think back to when Johnny was a low grade.
Yeah.
How much head scratching did you and I do, thinking, okay, we need to help him to understand this and get this. Yeah? Do we agree? Well, now he's a black belt.
Yep.
And he knows lots of kata, and he's entered kata competitions at the World Championships.
Yep.
You know, what a change is that? You know, from somebody who you think, I don't know, I'm going to have to try a different way to teach him Miljang.
Yeah, yeah.
So now knowing 9 or 10 katas.
That's the thing with kata, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, persevere, stick with things.
And what a brilliant credit to Johnny for not saying, oh, this is hard, I give up.
Well,
this is
Johnny
too
wouldn't
difficult.
be where he is now, would he?
No.
If he'd have said that.
Of course not.
It's credit to him that he's stuck
Absolutely.
with it.
Yeah,
And he's not the only one.
Example.
I think that's important
God,
to say.
No, just
Johnny's not the
examples.
only case, and as Sid is not the only person who's ever learnt a kata from a video, you know. But I'm just merely using those people as examples because they're there in front of me on my phone. They've sent me a message.
The other example I have, which you may have heard me use before, and I often use this in the instructor training. I once did one-to-one lessons with a dance coach. He was a young lad, 21 or 22. He was a dance instructor, and he was working his way up to be a choreographer. And he was flexible, strong, and had a fantastic memory to remember dance sequences. Now, he learned all the katas in like 3 months. He was flexible and strong. He could do all of the kicks. And he was saying, well, I know all the things to be a black belt. And yet he did know all the techniques. He could have passed as a black belt technically. But of course, he wasn't involved. He wasn't living martial arts for long enough.
There's no fast track to black belt, is there?
And also, it wasn't a challenge for him.
Yeah, of course.
You know, really, I needed to find some way to challenge him.
Yeah.
And the ideal thing to challenge him would have been to get him to spar. So you must spar. Oh, you know, I don't really like sparring.
I don't like contact.
Well, but that's part of martial arts. Yeah, but I can do all the kicks and I can do all the kata.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't spar. Oh, I don't want to be hit. I don't like to hit other people. Well, unfortunately, that's part of being a black belt. Yeah, because it's the whole package. Some people struggle on this, some on this. But you know, everyone's got to bring everything up to a level. Otherwise, it's just not real, is it? It's just not.
Exactly, and I think that we have found people who find everything easy
They don't get anything out of it.
are the ones that don't take anything from martial arts. They don't understand a lot of it, and they do tend to drift, and they are the ones that we don't see as much of, if you like, or people who do just drift away completely. I think if you look, and I'm just going through my head at martial artists who I know who have been successful at something at a high level, they have had some kind of challenge in their life relating to martial arts that they've had to overcome.
Yeah, of course.
You know, Reg, stay calm. And whether that be just the fact that they're not very coordinated, or they can't balance very well, or they don't remember things very well, you know, or
they figure under pressure, gradings
and kickboxing as well, you know. Perhaps you get people who really want to get in the ring and they want to have a go, but they don't like being hit, you know. So the people who can overcome that thing of, right, eyes on the target, don't blink, keep your hands up, are the ones who stick around, and they're the ones who really benefit from learning those things. You know, I think about little Matt. Do you remember Matt, Matt Walter, who used to train with us, you know, and he was a monster,
little Matt
wasn't
Walter
he?
that's now about 6
as
foot
tall as
tall,
you. Yeah. But he was like that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was really like eager to get in there, and then as soon as he overcame that thing of you got to open your eyes and put your chin down, he was away, you know, and he did really well with it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But of course, again, there's loads of people who I sit here and I say that. I've got a list of at least, I reckon, 10 people who have come into my head as I've sat here thinking of those people who have had a challenge that they've had to overcome.
I think it's
and they've
perfect.
done
I
really
think if you
well.
have a challenge and you overcome it, it sets you up brilliantly.
Or you have something, then you think, I'm not going to let it stop me.
Mm.
From
And that carries across to other things in life, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Back to last week's, how are martial arts skills transferable to real life?
Yeah.
So the next thing I've got on here is it's a fantastic method of individual practice. Now, if you've been watching any of our live shows, live lessons,
It feels like a show.
Yeah, you know that I've said so many times, this is the perfect time to be good at Kata, to use your Kata, because this is what it's designed for.
Yeah.
You know, in times gone by, you would go to a sensei and he would show you some moves. He wanted you to refine and practice and move and show that you could change direction as you were practicing them. And you'd go away and practice. And you'd go back and see him a month later and say, Sensei, this is what I've got so far. What do you think? And he'd say, yeah, change this, tweak that, do this, blah, da, da, da. Right, off you go. And see you in another few weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the whole idea behind Kata and frameworks. You know, it was these are the moves I want you to perfect.
Yeah.
Go away and perfect them. Go away and make them really good.
Yeah, and I think if you're a kickboxer and you're now watching this and you've heard us talk about those frameworks, and you're thinking, oh, if only I had remembered that before the lockdown and, I could go and practice it. Well, go to the virtual classes page on our website because the frameworks are on there under the kickboxing section.
Monday we did them, didn't we?
Yeah, you did them in the live class on Monday, but I mean, people can actually go and they can find that video which just covers the framework.
Yes, it does.
And they can watch it and they can learn it, and then that gives you something to practice and something to improve on.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to see what I've got here.
You haven't got your glasses again?
No, I haven't. In a way, frameworks, katas, are the information that your sensei wants to, or your senseis want to put across to you, locked into a code. Aren't they? That it's like, remember this sequence of moves, do it well, and it will give you a great foundation to the whole of the martial art you're learning.
Yeah.
You know, not everything, but it will give you certainly a huge foundation for it, you know. And it really is, it's almost like some secret code that's passed down, you know, so that when, and I don't expect, you know, we've talked about this briefly already today, we don't expect green belts to know every nuance of what a side block could mean.
No.
You know, when you're learning the kata, just learn it as a side block, you know. This is a block, it stops the technique from hitting you. That'll be fine. For where you are at the moment, it's real, that it is a good purpose.
Yep.
And that's fine. But it can be so many other things, as you know.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll tell you all about those when you're ready.
Yeah.
But let's not overcomplicate things yet. You know?
Of course. And I think that another thing that you can take, if you like, another message you can take from that is to look at the bigger picture when it comes to kata. Don't just look at this as a downward block, and it's a downward block, that's it. That's all it can ever be because somebody's taught it to you as a downward block. Well, no. It could be lots of things. That one movement on its own could be lots of things. And if you can keep an open mind, it will really help you. I think to fall in love with kata as well, because I think some people get fed up with it. You know, they have this thing of, oh, I know the moves, I don't need to practice it anymore. Well, yeah, you know the sequence, but do you feel it? You know, do you feel like you're really putting everything into it that you can? Have you practiced it so that everything's as good as it can be? And have you thought about what each move could be?
Do you change direction and never lose balance?
Yeah, where are your eyes looking? I think head movement is a massive thing for me for kata. Whenever I do
where is your attention?
Yeah, whenever
Because
I do a
you're
one-to-one session with somebody for kata, and they'll say to me, how can I make this look better? I can usually guarantee before I've even watched their kata, I'm going to say to them, you need to think about where your head's looking, or where your eyes are looking at least, and which direction your head is facing. You know, so if you're watching this now thinking, oh yeah, I've never thought about that, I've never thought about which way my head looks, do a kata and pay attention to where your eyes are and where your head is. You know, are you drifting all over the place, or are you really focused on on that one point? Are your eyes up? Are they level, eye line? Or are you looking down at the floor? Are you looking up to the sky, wherever? Think about those things.
Really important. So, what else have I got on here? And of course, I've got on here, develop elegance, grace, poise, and balance. And those are so important, aren't they? Even if you never wish to compete, if you develop as much elegance, poise, balance, coordination as you possibly can, that's only going to help you in life. I can't think of any situation where having more of those skills is going to be a bad thing.
No.
Not any situation.
No. Agreed. Yeah.
And what else is there in life that can help you practice all of those things in one little package?
I don't really know, if I'm honest. I suppose things like dancing would help.
Yeah, good.
I think gymnastics is good too.
Yeah.
And of course we're not saying that Cata is the way, the truth and the light and the only thing that you should ever practice, or the only thing that ever matters, but it's simply just trying to get it out there that it's a lot more than just a sequence of moves, I suppose.
And then of course you've got the thing with gradings and tournaments. And to put yourself in that situation, and a lot of people say, I don't like the pressure of a grading. All right, well, it's quite a small pressure, and everybody else in this room, or the room where you do the grading, everybody else in that room understands the pressure. Everyone here is empathic.
We've been through it too. I think that's
that's
the thing. I think people think, they don't know what it's like.
I failed my blue belt because I couldn't remember my kata.
There you go. You see, it does happen to us as well.
Yeah.
It's, we're just not immune.
But the point is, overcoming it.
Yeah.
You deal with the expectation that's on you, and you say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I am going to do it. Doesn't matter how difficult it is to do it, I am going to do it.
Or how long it takes me and how many tries it takes me to get it right. I am going to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Good. Well, that
is that your list, is it? Right, okay. Well, I think that's been a good discussion, to be honest. And I mean, we've had some interaction from people, which is great. Thank you to everybody who's still watching and who's still getting involved and sending messages and commenting on things. It's good to have your interaction. Let us know what you thought. I'd like to know what people's favourite kata is. I think that's... I have put a little question out on the live stream. I don't know if this works. I've not done it before, so it's just a little test, really.
Well,
I'll just ask people what their favourite kata is. And I find that a really difficult question. I think I'd have to go with choreo. Simply because it's the one I seem to do all the time.
Yeah, over the years, my favourite kata has changed,
Yeah.
and often it relates to my level of flexibility.
Oh, does it really? Okay, yes.
And so,
Yeah.
whether you have an injury, whether you have a recent knee replacement, or
Yeah, of course.
or whatever's going on, then you have different favourites because you can get into different kata more depending on the state of your body,
Yeah. And so, Leanne, let us know. Let me know your favourite kata and why is it your favourite kata? What is it about that kata that you think, I like that? That's my favourite.
It's my fave.
It's my fave. Yeah, it's going down on my faves list. Yeah, I think I know what most people are going to say. I think it's going to be Sarjang.
Yeah, that does seem to be a very popular kata.
I get a feeling with Sarjang that everyone loves it, and I'm included in that bracket. I think it is a nice kata.
Yeah, you don't like the bunkai for it very much, though, do you? Or those neck cranks and whatever.
Vicious bunkai, you and Master Ward. Honestly, that bunkai is horrid. Horrid. Sometimes I dislike being a higher grade and having to do all that kind of neck grinding and I don't know what that thing where you get your head and
the interpretations of what the kata moves mean. They do seem to be particularly brutal for Sarjang. So it's there's always a bit of a challenge. I love to see people's faces, especially if they haven't seen it before, and you show them what a move represents, and they go, "Ooh,
yeah,
really?"
But you see, this is the stuff that always comes out in that black belt class, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes to the black belt class on a Thursday night, we do tend to get a little bit
We do more Kata, don't we? More bunkai.
Unkind, I think, is the it's nasty, isn't it? It's not just this is a punch and this is a block. It's grab someone and get their head in a headlock and twist their neck round and it's nasty. But it's good fun.
Yeah,
it's good fun. So
and it's always nice to know rather than not know.
Yeah. So Nancy says that her favourite kata is Chiljang because the moves are cool.
Yeah, I think the moves of Chiljang are cool.
I think it is a good kata.
I think Chiljang, you can attack Chiljang and just smash it.
Yeah, I like Chiljang. Interestingly, Chiljang was always a bit of my my bogey kata, I think, was the...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I skipped out second blue belt. I went from blue belt to purple belt.
Mm.
And so I didn't actually learn Chiljang until I got to first kyu.
Oh, okay. Yes. When you had to learn the 5
When I
katas,
had to learn...
Well, you had to learn all of them because you didn't do
them.
junior black belt, did you?
Yeah, so I went through this period of time never knowing Chiljang, and it was so stressful. But it's all right now. I like it now. It's a good kata. Yeah, it's one of my favourites as well. I like them all. I don't know why.
They all challenges in different ways.
Yeah, there's some obviously that I like more than others, but I still think we should go back to original Ojang. Just putting that out there. I like
anyway.
Moving on. But yeah, good. Well, I think it's been a good discussion. Again, thank you to everyone who's got involved. Are we going to head off now?
We are going to head off. Just a couple of things that are coming up. We spoke last week about the Brain Dojo resource that Maisie and I are creating.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be doing lots of talking bits, a bit like this sort of situation. They're going to go on there, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of subjects. Hopefully, they'll be really useful to you. Hopefully, they'll be really helpful to you, because obviously that's what we want. And remember, the Brain Dojo resource is really for you to train your body and your mind and get everything strong, helpful, pointing in the right direction. Nothing trips you up. Nothing's going to subconsciously sabotage what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we're going to be using all the resources that we've found over the years to try and explain that to you and be really helpful. And we're going to be recording a couple of those this afternoon. You won't get to see them for a bit, but...
yeah, just to try and keep you up to date with what we're doing, really. PE tomorrow. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, so if anybody wants to send me any recommendations of a theme... exercises and stuff are cool, but if you like a certain theme, go ahead, send me a suggestion. I'm up for that. I haven't really thought about it too much.
Yeah, what sort of things could they suggest? That it could be a bit of a strength workout, a bit of a body weight workout.
We could do a cardio
workout. It could be a cardio workout.
We could have an abs session where we work our abs. We could have a leg session or a lower body session where we really do lots of squats. And
work your quads and your butt.
Your glutes and, all of those things. It's quite difficult to do lots of upper body exercises, if you like, that are body weight. I think things that predominantly work your arms, there's very few exercises I have found that will just isolate your arms. I mean, there's lots of exercises you can do where your arms are included, but things that really isolate, and unless you've got something you can pull up on.
But also, what you could get, if people wanted to do an arm workout, you could get them to have a small bottle of water in each hand.
Yep.
I mean, that's a really
that's a good, or a little can in each hand.
Absolutely, and do lots of punching. I mean, we know lots of hand techniques, don't we?
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, that's an idea. We could do that sort of thing. But if you don't let me know, that's cool as well. I can still come up with an idea. But yeah, let me know. PE tomorrow, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock on the virtual classes page of our website. And it's called PE, but it's suitable for everybody of all ages. So adults, get yourselves involved if you want to have a little workout. It's about a 30-minute workout. So it doesn't go on forever. It takes a sort of high-intensity interval training format where we do an exercise for 30 seconds, then we have a 20 seconds rest, and we go on to the next exercise. Yeah.
And then Friday, we've got our virtual classes live. I know it's a bank holiday. It's a VE Day celebrations, isn't it?
It is, yep.
So if you're going to participate, I'd love to see pictures of you all in your Union Jack gear and your patriotic gear. That'd be cool.
Union flag.
Union flag gear, sorry. if you want to send those pictures in, that would be great.
Yep.
We will be doing it on Friday because, well, bank
Because
holiday
we've got
won't-
nothing else to do, quite frankly. That's why, isn't it? And we'd go absolutely crazy if we didn't do live classes and all of this stuff that we are doing.
Yeah.
But brilliant. So I hope that's been helpful for people. We'll do that little clip
Yes.
this afternoon of
Belt passing.
the belt passing thing, and we hope that everybody can get involved in that. If that's something you want to get involved in, and you've got any questions, let me know. I think there's going to be a few rules that we lay out, if you like, where you have to pass the belt off in a certain direction and receive it in
yeah.
another direction, just so that everything's uniform and everything then all works together, and it seems like the belt is flowing from one page to another. Page to another? Clip to another.
Yeah, one clip to another.
Yes.
And Sensei Maisie will use her magic transitions to change the colour of the belt where necessary.
I'll try. I don't know how good my editing skills are, really. I
No,
can
you
try.
need more practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
I
right,
think you
good.
might be right. And check out the winners for the Cata competition, because they're on our Facebook page now, and
Yeah.
they all did really well. You
well
all
done
did really
with that.
well.
That's great.
Everybody who entered, I think, did really well. So even if you didn't win anything, don't panic, because we've got more competitions coming up. There's going to be another chance for you to win a prize.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. We've got a little focus challenge coming up, but that's all I'm going to say for the moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm going to disappear over there so I can shut stuff down, but I shall catch you all tomorrow for PE.
Okay, well, yeah, I hope you do join Sensei Maisie for PE on Thursday. It's really going well, and it's great to have all the interaction. We appreciate that when you're training in the class, it's really hard to message in and say what you're doing, because you're huffing and puffing and doing things, aren't you? But send it in afterwards, and I do. I'm Sensei Maisie and I connected by phone. She's got her earplugs in, so I can pass on any information that you send in, any messages that you send in. I read out to her, so she can mention them in the live stream, and it works quite well, and it's good fun. Reggie and I are upstairs reading the messages, and then we just relay them onto Maisie when she's training. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope it's useful for you, and remember, Kata certainly isn't just for karate. It's a kickboxing and a Muay Thai thing as well. We just call it framework instead of Kata. All right, but other than that, it's just the same. All right, so hope you have a great day. Stay active, train hard, and I'll speak to you soon.